Hello, YouTubers. This is RobBriz95 here with, I guess, kind of a. I figured I'd, do a random thing. I don't really know what to call this. I guess it's kind of a book review, I guess, and kind of a weird random resources guy. Um, so I reread this last night. I got really bored after I got off work, and I reread this. This is really good. I'm probably going to go out and get the second one today. It's Path of the Planeswalker. It's a graphic novel from Wizards of the Coast. It's basically, as you guessed, about the Planeswalkers. It basically follows. It starts out with Shandra actually stealing the scroll that leads. Eventually, you find out leads to Zendikar and the Eye of Ugin and stuff like that. It's got Sarkhan, Ajani, Shandra, Liliana Garrick, Nicol Bolas, of course, is in it. It's a very, very good graphic novel. See if I can find a good example of the art styles. The artists they had on this were Christopher Moeller, Andrew Robinson, Lucio Perillo, Trevor Hersine, Dan Scott, Alexi Brokat, Jason Sean Alexander, Paul Lee, Alex Horley or Leon Daly or something, or however you say it, Greg Staples, Rafa Gares, Dave Kendall, Steve Prescott, Scott Hampton, Mark Texeria, Nils Ham, Tomas Garello, Steve Bendelelden, Nick Klein, Izzy, Brian Harbin, and Gerard Van Dyke, Vince Evans, Carl Kapinski, and Arthur Sudam. It's actually really interesting. Every few pages, the art style changes. Like you got some stylized. Like here's a good. I thought this was a cool picture of Chandra. It's very water, more pastel like. It's really cool. The art styles are really really good. It's divided up into a few parts. Like you go from this really kind of like stylized, almost like image comic style art, um, and then it changes to this really kind of almost making. It's almost comical. I kind of don't like this one, the way they make Chandra look. It's kind of funny, but it's a really good graphic novel, and then it changes to this like almost Jim Lee style, art, which is really cool. And it shows you how Garrick becomes Veil Cursed. It tells you about Tezzeret and his discovery of, in his early life on Esper. It's really cool. It even talks about Sarkhan Vol and his weird fascination with dragons. And he actually meets a Johnny, I believe it is, a Johnny Vengeant. Well, just a Johnny on Naya, I think is where they meet. But yeah, because here's a Johnny right here. But yeah, no, it's a really good book, and I highly recommend that everyone check it out. I got this at Borders doesn't exist anymore. How much was this? It's $15, $14.95, plus tax. You can get it on Amazon. I know that, pretty good price. They also have the second one. I want to get it. It's a really good graphic novel. In the back, you get these really cool. You get the full art versions of the original Planeswalker portraits that were from Lorwyn. They were all done by the same guy, which was really cool. It was touched on in The Gathering, so there was consistency. The only one that wasn't was this one. Excuse me again, Nicol Bolas. But yeah, everyone should check that out. And then if you're ever interested in more about the Planeswalkers, these are my softcover versions of them. Here's the Chandra's Purifying Fire, Chandra and Gideon. If you want to read about Liliana, Jace, and is it Liliana? I think it's just Liliana and Jace, and the City of Ravnica and Tezzeret. This is a really good book. The hardcover version, if you got it, came with this Jace card right here, which is a pretty cool card. And then Testamentals hard read. It's about Tezzeret mostly, and Nicol Bolas and his quest for Ethereum and setting him to find Crucius the Mad. And it's a tough read. It's pretty. It's written by Matthew Stover. He's written a couple books for the Forgotten Realms. It's a tough read, but it's really good. And then I recently picked up some more. I'm like missing bits and pieces of my Magic books, and for my history stuff, like I picked up the first book in the Ice Age cycle, The Gathering Dark. Really good book. Rereading it. The first book in the Odyssey cycle. Odyssey, obviously. I like the picture on the back. It's got the Mirari on it. If anyone's got one of those, I'd be willing to trade for it. And I picked up. I don't have any of these books, which kind of bothers me. I've been reading them online, but I've got Invasion Cycle Book 1, Invasion. I just need the second one. I also picked up Apocalypse, which is the third one. And then I picked up one of the anthologies books, which takes place after the Invasion Cycle. It's called Wrath and Storm, or in between. It's about basically about Gerard and the stuff that happens that they don't talk about in the book. I also picked up another anthology. It's called Distant Plains. These are just books that were missing from my collection. And then like I said, I'm gonna go through all of them again. One cool thing is the bookstores around here. They're pretty well. I mean, it's California. It's run by a bunch of hippies. So you go in there, you trade in your books. They give you a fair price. I mean, these books were labeled at $3.50 each, and I got them for $1. So I traded in a bunch of books I'd already read or really hadn't read or anything like that. And I got those. So yeah, so that's where I'm getting most of my information is these books. So and then like I said, if anyone gets a chance to read this is really, really good. The story is just amazing. It's just super amazing. And the art is, if anything, the art is just gorgeous. They end up showing you Zendikar, I think, towards the end. It ends with the Eye of Ugin opening. So, not to be a spoiler alert, but I'm hoping that most people know that already, if they've kind of seen the, or followed the Magic lore and whatnot. Because you can pretty much pick it up on the flavor text, and there's actually a picture in here that ended up being on a Planeswalker card. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry, I'm just kind of thumbing through pictures here on camera. It's kind of a waste of time, but it's a fun thing. I don't know if they have a full-size picture of it, but one of the pictures in here ended up being on the art for Sarkhan the Mad, right there. So, yeah, right there. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah, just a random book review video, I guess, and just like a sharing of where I'm getting my history and whatnot. And if anyone is still interested, I do still have my extra copy of Arena. Let me know. So, it's a really good book. The older books, though, I think you can actually tell when they had this kind of like this color up here. They were actually put out by Harper Prism. If that helps anyone to find them. And then when they were switched over to after, I don't know if it was the Cursed Land or And Peace Shall Sleep. It switched over to being published by Wizards themselves. So I don't remember if it was in Peace Shall Sleep or it's been a while. These original books were more stories. They had some history stuff in them, but it wasn't until they started doing about the sets themselves that they really got more into the history. You learn about Urza and Mishra in like Song of Time and in the Prodigal Sorcerer. But like the Whispering Woods trilogy, there's not too much back history. They explain to you what planeswalkers are and things like that. And same with Arena. They explain to you, they kind of set everything up for the world with Garth and, what's his face. But it wasn't until they kind of started doing about the sets that they really got into the flavor and the history. I don't remember if they had an actual book about like the Fallen Empires and Homelands. I think they had like an all-encompassing series within the older books. I know with Ice Age there was that whole set. And for those who didn't know, Cold Snap was the end of that block, and it happened years later. Anyway, so I think I'm done ranting. If you sat through this, thank you. Look for my Magic the History video going up later today. So until next time, YouTube, I recommend that you guys all check out any of those books, especially the graphic novel. It's super awesome. So go ahead and rate, wherever it is down there, and comment down there, and go ahead and subscribe up here. And a good place to find all this stuff, Amazon, I guess. I prefer going to, I enjoy the tactile experience. I'm old school. Like when I open new cards or when I find an old box of cards, I'll smell it. Same with books. I love the smell of books. So if you have a used bookstore, Go in there and see if they have it in the fantasy section. You'd be surprised at how easy they are to find. And if you're there, just pick up anything by R.A. Salvatore too, because he's just a good author. So I think Troy Denning actually wrote quite a few of these, and like Philip Athas and J. Robert King, and quite a few who, if anyone is familiar with the Forgotten Realms, they wrote things for the. Oh, I have the whole series up there. It was the War of the Spider Queen in the Forgotten Realms, and just a lot of really random. Like they write for Eberron and Greyhawk and stuff like that. So anyway, until next time, YouTube, keep an eye out for my Magic the History. We'll be discussing. Since I did my overview of the Brothers' War, which was completely unintentional. That's why you don't write things when you've been drinking. I'm going to do overviews of the characters. We'll be talking about the two, basically the good and the bad sides. You had Mishra and Ashnod and Urza and Tanos. So we'll go more into depth and things with Mishra and Phyrexia. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, YouTube, rate, comment, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.